What is going on, guys? We are back with another video today. I'm showing you how to wire halos into your pre-facelift model E39. So as you can see, I've got facelift headlights, and if you saw my last video or the video I just posted with this one, you'll see that I'm putting in some fresh updated headlights, and they have the LED halos like the facelifts do. So with that being said, you have to wire in these on a pre-facelift car because they don't come factory with any kind of halo plug like this. Now this right here is your standard halo plug from a facelift car. What I can recommend to everybody is to go find a facelift E39 in a junkyard, in a part out, whatever, and cut off the halo plugs and then splice them into your own wiring harness, which you see I've made mine here, just a hot in the ground. And then you'll retain the factory plugs while also wiring it in a different way. Now there's multiple ways to wire in halos. On my car personally, I prefer the halos to be on all the time. I want them to be seen at all times, so that's how I'm going to wire them in this video. If you would like to wire them like the facelift cars are, where when you turn the knob once and they come on, E39 Source has a pretty good video on that, and I'll link that somewhere on the screen here or in the description below, where you can go watch that video instead. But this video is particularly, I'm going to be wiring them where when the key is on, the halos are on, so pretty much 24/7 runtime unless the car is off. So first off, what I've been doing now is I went ahead and spliced the connector to a harness that I made here with some black and red wire, just your typical stuff, and then I'm going to wrap it in this loom tape as you see here. I'm going to wrap the whole thing. But what I've been doing is I went ahead and plugged in the halo here, and I'm getting my measurement all the way across to this halo. So I've already got the measurement, and that's how long I'm going to keep it right there. But what I'm going to do now, and also I guess I should put, the way I'm wiring these is I'm coming out from here, I'm going on top of the radiator. I've taken off the radiator supports right here just so I can put the wiring in, and I'm going to put those back on. But wiring it to here, then you have another plug, and when you splice this plug, you're going to have two more wires coming off of this plug. You'll have one for power and then one for your ground, which I'm grounding to right here in the engine bay. So this wiring right here is my old wiring from my other halos I had in here, and they were LED halos, but all that's getting removed or changed anyways. I'm not going to remove it, but I'll show you guys how I ran all that stuff. This white wire I got to take out, but this is my power that I'm going to be utilizing for these halos, and then I'm going to be grounding it, like I said, right there. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to do the next splice, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm dealing with on the next one and what I'm using to splice and all that stuff. So let's get to that. All right, so to go over what I'm using to splice with, I'm splicing all of these wires with these little heat shrink solder joints. This is what I've always used these in a lot of the wiring in my car, and it's always worked out great. They're weatherproof heat shrinks. So basically you put the wires in each side, then you heat it up with a heat gun or something else that gets it really hot, and it melts the solder and makes the connection between the two cables. And then it also seals the cables with the red parts right here, so that there is no water intrusion or anything like that. I'm putting that on, and then I'm also putting on from this kit some heat shrink stuff. So I don't really know if you really need the heat shrink, but I'm putting it on just so it looks better. And then after all of that, I'm using loom tape to wrap everything up so that you can't see any wires or anything like that, and it looks clean and done right. So that is pretty much it for that. Let's see. Like I said, I've already got this side wired up, so only thing I do next is wire in the other plug, which I've already cut to length. So I know this is where I need to splice in the other plug, which is going to be right here. Just got to splice this guy in. When you cut it off of the car, your parts car, I recommend not cutting it so short. I cut these off of a parts car, and they've been spliced into my other car, and I had to cut the splices off, so that's why mine are so short. But I'd recommend at least giving yourself a good foot or two, if you can, get as much as you can off of them. That way you have something to splice to. But I'm going to splice these two together, and I'm also going to add in another hot and a ground so that I can grind it to the engine bay and then have a wire coming off for the hot so that I can have the hot going to the inside of the car. So I'm going to set this up on a time lapse, and you guys can watch me do that. Alrighty, so I have now spliced two powers together and two grounds together. It's all spliced into this power and ground right here. And the reason for that is one of the powers and grounds comes off of this, and the other two powers and grounds, well, the other two power and ground, which is right here, if I can get it up, these will go to the ground in the engine bay, and then the power that goes back into the interior of the car. So the harness itself is basically done, and then if you can make these longer to go into the interior. I'm not going that far because I already have a wire into the interior, and I'm just going to splice into that. But if you wanted to have a straight home run all the way back to wherever you're going to splice it into the interior wire, you can do that, or you can splice it in the engine bay. And then I also wrapped it up in this loom tape. And I do plan on wrapping up the entire harness in loom tape. I have not done that yet just because I am trying to make sure my links are right, all that stuff before I do that. So let's go put it in the car real quick and check it out. Alright, so I've got my harness reran through the middle right here. I'm kind of a rough run. It's not in its exact location where it will stay, but it goes down, goes under the ballast, comes back up, goes to the plug right here, which I believe that this halo bulb is broken, the stock one, but I think it says something like that, I'm pretty sure. And goes back down under. It's going to go back around, and then it's going to come up, and then my ground is right here, and I'm going to splice the ground to where I've already cut it back right there. That way it kind of sits under this little loop, and it sits way down there. And then my hot is probably going to follow that loop in the bottom, come up the top, and I'll probably splice the hot. I may splice it up here. I may cut it after the splice and redo it, or I'll splice it somewhere down here and then wrap it up. So yeah, these cables are the ones that go into the car. They are both greens. We did this years ago. The white one is for the blinker. For my old halos were switchback halos, so I had a blinking feature on it where when I turn my turn signals on, it would blink. I'm not using that in these halos, of course. So these will get rolled back up and put in here for future use if I ever want to use them for anything. I just got to make sure that the wire is wrapped up and safe. And then the red I'm just going to reuse. So yep, that's the plan. I'm going to take this harness back out one more time, splice the ground on, and then bring it back. I'm going to wrap it all up after I splice the ground on. Then I'm going to put it back in the engine bay finally and splice the hot in, and then I'll show you guys the interior after that. Alright, now we have ourselves a fully wrapped harness. All I have to do now is go back to the car, put the ground on, figure out my links for the power, splice the power in, and then I can show you guys how it goes into the interior and what the process is for that. So yeah, let's do that next. Alrighty, so we are back outside and I have gotten the harness all ran. I'm going to show you guys how I did it. So comes off your halo, goes under the ballast here, goes to the side of the ballast really, but you can push it under as well, got enough slack for that. Comes up, goes over all the way across the front, goes back down, goes down under this ballast, and then it comes back up to here, and then it splits off, goes way back to that corner. You can kind of see it right here, my finger is, goes back up, your ground comes to here, and then this is the power cord, that red power cord. I went ahead and wrapped that as well. Wrap that, it goes all the way up, and I pulled it into here where I'm going to splice it. I'm actually going to cut this splice out, and I'm going to splice it in this cubby right here. I'm going to re-splice that, wrap up the white, and then I will show you guys what the inside looks like once I'm all done getting this spliced. Alrighty, so I've got this guy spliced to my power that goes in the interior, and let's go in the interior now and I'll show you how it's set up. Now excuse all the mess of wiring. This is all for my manual swap. I wish it was cleaner, but there's only so much slack you have in a lot of these, and I only had a few days to do the manual swap, so I was in a hurry. But disregard all that. This green wire right here is the wire that we are focusing on. And we ran this all the way to right here. And you can see it's scotch locked into this purple wire. But we went to this purple wire here. We had the steering column all the way apart. We went directly to the plug that goes on the steering column up here. And using a voltmeter, we found out what gets power on key switch. So when key switch is powered on, and whatever wire gets 12 volt, that's the one we scotch locked into. So that's what we have here. This is the safest way, in my opinion, to tap into a wire, because I do not want to cut anything. All it does is you put your one wire on one side and you clamp it down on the wire you're trying to tap into, and it sends power through both. So that is how the system is set up. And it goes up and back, and then it goes way back there to where your the thing comes from the outside, the rubber grommet, I guess I should say. I'll show you that real quick as well. So it goes down in there on the big rubber grommet at the bottom, and that is how we ran it. So you can use, if you need to use something specific, you can use a coat hanger, works best to poke through it. But you'll have to have all of this stuff removed, and you'll have to be looking up under the dash and stuff. I just took this off to show you guys how it was ran, so you guys understood how I did it. But that is pretty much it. Last thing I need to do is turn the key over like that. And although it is hard to see because these are halogens, you can see that the halos are on there and the halos are on there. So that's it, guys. That is all there is to it. And now this car is set up and ready for my fresh headlights, where I can get all my power from here, and it's done cleanly. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this works for you. This is how you wanted to do it, and on to the next one.